60 hours a week for 8 long years. They told me, "You're on salary now. Managers don't get overtime." I believed them. I trusted them until I found the calculator. Turns out they owed me $47,000 in stolen wages. Just me. Then I found 47 others just like me. That same year, the restaurant chain cleared $340 million in profit. We sued, and we won. But after the lawyers took their cut, I walked away with $18,000 for 8 years of my life. To them, it wasn't a crime, it was just a business expense. This is how wage theft works, and why most people are too afraid to fight back. My name is Janis D. I'm 36, a single mom, and for 8 years, I was a ghost to my own children. My twins, Annie and Catherine, only saw me at breakfast. By the time I walked through the door at 11 p.m., they were already asleep. Every single night. I was a shift manager at Ruby's American Grill. It sounds impressive, right? But in reality, manager was just a code word for work 60 hours for the price of 40. After taxes and insurance, I took home $2,400 a month. Rent was $1,200. Daycare was $400. By the time I paid for food and my car, I had exactly $50 left. $50 to show for 60 hours of my life every week. I thought this was normal. I thought being on salary meant I belonged to them. I was grateful just to have a job, until I realized I wasn't an employee. I was a sacrifice. Listen closely. What I'm about to tell you could be happening to you right now. You might be working 50, 60, or 70 hours a week, thinking you're part of the team, while your company is quietly stealing your future. They bank on your silence. They bank on you not knowing the law. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how wage theft works. I'll teach you how to spot the red flags, how to calculate exactly what you're owed, and most importantly, how to fight back. Because once I learned the truth, they couldn't ignore me anymore. And they won't be able to ignore you either. Saturdays were the worst. At Ruby's American Grill, capacity 150 actually meant 150 reasons for me to run until my feet bled. My title was shift manager, but my reality? I was a server, a host, a bartender, and a dishwasher, all at once. I was the person who stayed for 14 hours when everyone else went home to their families, all for $36,000 a year. My boss, Steven, would drop by once a month. He'd pat me on the back and say, "Janis, you're the best in the district." I'd smile and say thank you. Then he'd drive away in his luxury car while I stayed behind to work another 60-hour week. I missed everything. I missed Annie's school play. I missed Catherine's conferences. On their 9th birthday, I wasn't there to cut the cake. I was in a dark restaurant stockroom, counting liquor bottles, listening to them sing happy birthday over a blurry FaceTime call. I told myself, just keep pushing, it'll get better. But looking back, I wasn't moving up. I was just being used up. It was a Tuesday night in February. Just me and Aaron the cook closing up. Aaron had been there 12 years, an hourly guy who knew how the system worked. He looked at me and asked a simple question.
Janis, what do they actually pay you?
36,000?
He didn't say a word. He just pulled out his phone and opened the calculator app.
You work 60 hours a week, right? 50 weeks a year?
He typed the numbers. Then he looked up, his face dead serious. Janis.
That's $12 an hour.
I tried to defend them.
But I'm on salary. Managers don't get hourly pay.
Aaron didn't blink.
The minimum wage here is 15. You're a manager, but you're making less than the servers you supervise.
What? That's not right.
Then he showed me the Department of Labor website. The words burned into my eyes. Exempt versus non-exempt. To be exempt from overtime, your primary duty has to be management. Aaron looked at the floor I was mopping. Janis, do you manage or do you do? I felt a physical sickness in my stomach. The realization hit me like a freight train. If you aren't truly managing, Aaron said, They owe you time and a half for every hour over 40. That's $18 an hour, 20 hours a week, for 8 years. He hit the equals sign on his calculator. The number staring back at me was life-changing. I didn't sleep that night. At 6 a.m., I was back on that website reading the laws. Aaron wasn't just right. He had just uncovered an 8-year crime. I didn't sleep. I spent the next 48 hours surrounded by 8 years of paper. 416 pay stubs. 416 weeks of my life, documented and signed. I built a spreadsheet. I didn't just guess. I did the cold, hard math. Year 1, 61 hours a week. Owed, $7,020. Year 3, 63 hours a week. Owed, $7,956. By the time I hit year 8, the number at the bottom of the screen made my hand shake. $47,380. That wasn't just a number. That was 3 years of rent. That was my daughter's college fund. That was the price of every bedtime story I had ever missed. But then, a thought hit me like a lightning bolt. If they're doing it to me, they're doing it to everyone. I called Elizabeth. She'd been a manager for 7 years. When I told her the law, when I told her she was likely owed $40,000, there was a long, haunting silence. Then, she started to cry. That Sunday, 4 of us met in a living room with our pay stubs and calculators. Janis, Elizabeth, Sandra, and Teresa. We did the math together. Between just the 4 of us, this restaurant chain had stolen $182,000. We looked at the company website. 270 locations, over 1,000 managers just like us, all being told the same lie, all working 60 hours for free. We weren't just employees anymore. We were witnesses to a multi-million-dollar crime. I had 3 options. 1, do nothing. Keep letting them steal my life, 1 60-hour week at a time. 2, quit. Walk away from the $47,000 they owed me and find another dead-end job. Or 3, fight. I looked at my bank account, $347. My rent was $1,200, and it was due in 8 days. I couldn't afford to quit, but I couldn't afford to stay. I called Nathaniel Williams, an employment lawyer. I laid out 8 years of evidence on his desk. He didn't sugarcoat it.
Janice, this is a textbook wage theft. But if you file a class action lawsuit, you will be fired. They won't say it's because of the suit, they'll find a reason. Can you afford to lose your job?
No.
Then here's your choice, he said. Stay silent and keep being robbed, or fight and risk losing everything. I looked at the school photos of my daughters on my desk. I thought about every play, every conference, and every birthday I had traded for $12 an hour. I looked Nathaniel in the eye and said, I'll fight. Nathaniel was clear. We need numbers. The more victims we find, the harder it is for them to lie. I started a private group. Ruby Shift Managers, Know Your Rights. I posted my spreadsheet, my story, and the law. I waited. Within 1 week, there were 47 of us. Within a month, 132. The messages flooded in like a broken dam. From Ohio. 6 years, they owe me $34,000. From California, I work 70 hours a week. They owe me $60,000. It was the same story in every state. Promoted to manager, told salary means no overtime, working until they collapsed, missing their kids, and believing it was normal. Nathaniel told me we had enough for a class action, but we needed people willing to go public, people willing to be fired. I asked the group, who's ready to fight? 47 people stepped forward. Just between those 47, the total was staggering. $2 million in stolen wages. And that was just the beginning. With over 1,000 managers nationwide, we were looking at a $23 million crime. In May 2023, Nathaniel hit the file button. Adams versus Ruby's American Grill Corporation. We weren't just asking for our money back. We were seeking $4 million in damages for every bedtime missed and every hour stolen. The war had officially begun. 3 days after we filed the lawsuit, A man I'd never seen at my location walked through the front door. Richard Stack, the district manager. He didn't come to check the kitchen. He came for me. "Janice, we need to talk about your performance," he said. For 8 years, my reviews said, "exceeds expectations." Now, 3 days after suing for wage theft, I was suddenly a problem. He pulled a folder.
You were 4 minutes late once. You forgot a napkin order. A customer's steak was overcooked. We expect perfection from our managers.
Is this about the lawsuit?
He didn't even blink. "I don't know what you're talking about. This is a performance improvement plan. You have 30 days. If you don't reach perfection, you're terminated." It's the oldest trick in the book. The PIP document every tiny mistake to create a paper trail so they can fire you for performance instead of retaliation. They made my life a living hell. They scheduled me for Clopins, getting home at midnight and back at 10 a.m. They denied my Mother's Day request. They even wrote me up for a hostile work environment based on an anonymous lie. My daughter Catherine asked me, "Mommy, did you do something bad?" I had to lock myself in the bathroom and cry for 20 minutes just to keep from breaking down in front of her. But I wasn't the only one. Elizabeth was fired for being 2 minutes late. Teresa, with 11 years of experience, was demoted to server. All 47 of us were being hunted. They thought if they made us suffer enough, we'd drop the case. They didn't realize that when you've already stolen 8 years of someone's life, they have nothing left to lose. 10 months of legal warfare, depositions, motions, and corporate lies. Ruby's American Grill fought us every step of the way, claiming our primary duty was management, while our signed timesheets proved we were just glorified, unpaid labor. March 2024, 2 weeks before trial, the call came.
They want us to settle. They offered $2.1 million. But there was a catch, a confidentiality clause. No admission of guilt. We take the money and we shut up.
I did the math one last time. After the lawyers took their 33%, after court costs and taxes, my share of the $47,000 they stole from me was just $25,000.
I was still losing $22,000 of my life.
We got most of it now. And we forced them to reclassify every shift manager as non-exempt. They have to pay overtime now.
But they don't admit they were wrong. They can just do this again under a different job title, can't they?
He didn't have an answer for that. I asked the others. Elizabeth needed the $25,000 just to survive. Sandra was drowning in debt. Teresa, fired and 52 years old, had no other choice. We all voted yes. We signed the papers. In April 2024, the checks arrived. But as I held mine, I realized something. Justice in America isn't about what you're owed. It's about what you're willing to settle for. June 2024. 2 months after the settlement, I wasn't celebrating. I was packing. The company's retaliation worked. They had cut my hours so low, from 60 down to 28, that I couldn't keep up. By the time my settlement check arrived, I was already 3 months behind on rent. The money didn't go into a savings account. It went to an eviction defense lawyer and a security deposit on a smaller apartment. My daughter Catherine asked me the question I've been dodging for months. "Is this because of your fight?" I looked at the stacks of cardboard boxes and the life we were leaving behind. "Yes," I whispered. "Did you win?" Annie asked. I looked at my bank account, my rescinded job offers, and my tired face in the mirror. "Sort of," I told her. It took 43 applications before someone would hire me. Most places saw the lawsuit and decided I wasn't a culture fit. Finally, a small medical office took a chance on me. $32,000 a year, less than I made at the grill, but for exactly 40 hours. That first Tuesday, I did something I hadn't done in 8 years. I picked my daughters up at 5:30. We sat down at a small kitchen table. There was no steak, no managerial title, just boxed mac and cheese and apple slices. "You're home," Annie said, her voice trembling. "I'm home," I promised. "Every day?" Catherine asked. "Every single day." We all cried over those plastic bowls. I lost $22,000 to a corporation, but for the first time in a decade, I finally owned my time. 1 year later, the dust has settled. I'm an office manager now, making $4,000 less a year. My apartment is smaller, my commute is longer, and my debt is still there. But at 6 p.m. every night, I am exactly where I need to be, at the dinner table with my daughters. Elizabeth, Sandra, and Teresa, my fellow fighters, are all working again. None of them are making what they used to. The industry blacklisted us for demanding what we were owed. Meanwhile, Ruby's American Grill is doing just fine. Their settlement cost them less than their CEO's annual bonus. They even found a workaround, changing shift managers to shift leaders and capping their hours at 39 to avoid benefits. The game changed, but the goal is the same: profit over people. Our Facebook group has grown to nearly 800 members, different chains, different titles, but the same theft. Here's what I've learned from the front lines. First, wage theft is the largest form of theft in America. It steals $50 billion from workers every year, more than all robberies and burglaries combined. Second, if you are on salary, do the math. If your hourly rate drops below minimum wage because of your extra hours, you are being robbed. Third, document everything. Your timesheets and pay stubs are your only weapons. Fourth, you are not alone. There is strength in numbers, but know the cost. You will pay for your victory with your job, your reputation, and your time. People ask me, was it worth it? I lost my career. I lost my home. I'm still in debt, but I forced a multi-million-dollar corporation to change. I helped 46 others get paid, and most importantly, I am home to tuck my children in every single night. So yes, it was worth it. I'm telling you this because the fight isn't over. They count on your silence. They bank on your exhaustion. Don't let them. Go to dol.gov, check the rules, calculate what you're owed. They might have the money, but we have the truth, and it's time we held them accountable.